Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Being on Stage, the only podcast that gives you motivation, inspiration, and confidence to be better on stage. No matter how you entertain, sing, dance, band, comedian, public speaking, MC, drag, burlesque, performance art, or street performer, this is the show for you. Hey rock stars, welcome back to the Being on Stage podcast. I'm Reggie Dawson. Have you ever felt just pressure to perform at a certain level when you're on stage, pressure to achieve a certain skill, pressure to learn something, just so much sometimes other people put pressure on you, sometimes you put pressure on yourself. You expect yourself to be at a certain level and you're struggling. It happens to all of us. Every single person that steps on that stage is going to have a point when they go through a struggle. And I'm not talking about life struggle. I'm talking just plain old, like, you're struggling to focus. You feel like you're never going to get to the point that you want to be, and you keep working at it and working at it and working at it no matter what you do. You're doing it, you're practicing and rehearsing 2 and 3 times a day, 2 to 3 hours a pop. Like you're going at it for anywhere from 4 to 10 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, no breaks, because you have to be at that certain level. You have to make it to a certain point. And I admire that. I do. I really do. That is tenacity. That is drive. That is what all of us, that's what all of us need to have. When you reach the point, though, that the pressure and the expectations that you place on yourself is too high, that's when you can start to feel, I don't know, you can just feel like it's never going to happen. You feel like there's no point. You start losing hope and everything, and you start losing faith in yourself. Sometimes you start questioning why you're doing something because you feel like you're just not going to get there. And one of the things I want to tell you, and this is something that everybody needs to hear, so here it goes. It's okay to take a break. And I'm not talking 2-3 months. I'm talking a day. It's okay. If you've gone at it and you've worked your ass off, pardon my language, and you've just reached the point where you can't even focus anymore, but you still have to get to it, take a break. Step away. Go do something fun. Invest in one other hobby that you do. Because if you don't take that break, it's a mental health break is really what it is, okay? You see it a lot with college students and high school students, really. When they're so pressured to perform well because they want to get into a certain university, or the college students, they need to achieve a certain grade to keep their scholarship, and they're taking a rigorous course load. You see it a lot with athletes pushing themselves. A lot of times they end up with an injury if they're pushing themselves too hard. I always love hearing that. I always love hearing about athletes that injure themselves in practice, okay? And everyone thinks, oh my God, how the hell you injure yourself in practice? Well, you injure yourself in practice because you practice as you perform. I've injured myself in a rehearsal. You probably have too. Maybe you've maybe you've hurt your finger, you've hurt your foot, whatever. You have to have hurt yourself in practice. If you're going as hard as you're supposed to go, you have to have hurt yourself at one point in practice. It's part of it. But anyway, I'm kind of like going off track a little bit, so let's refocus. The point I'm trying to make here is when you reach the point that it becomes difficult to focus and it becomes doubtful that you're going to make it, to say the least. Now, I don't doubt it. I 100% believe in you. We all do. We all believe in you. There are people in your audience that believe in you and just can't wait to see you, fully achieve what you're meant to achieve. But pushing yourself at it every day is going to overwork you to the point of eventually you're going to start to look exhausted on stage, or even bored, or transactional. That's a word I've learned working in a call center, by the way. And what that means is, when you're talking to somebody, especially when you're placing orders, things like that, your tone becomes transactional. I mean, you sound like the robot that they were talking to, where they were pushing numbers to get to you, okay? So transactional is, thank you for calling. What can I get for you? How can I help you today? Okay. You want one? All right. That cost will be $10. We'll ship it to you at your address on file. Anything else I can help with today? Thanks, have a good one. That's transactional. And if your performance feels like the last 30 seconds of this podcast, that's a problem. And it usually comes from being overworked. We see it all the time. When an employee gets overworked, they get bored, they get lazy, they just don't care anymore. When a performer gets overworked, same thing. You get bored, you get lazy, and then eventually you just don't care anymore. You're just doing it to do it, and it's no longer fun. It's more of a have to. Look at the kids. There's kids that go through this. Their parents push them. And listen, I'm not picking on anyone's parenting skills. I push my child too. But there are ones that go to the extreme. I mean, they work these kids. They got school. They got extracurriculars until 10 o'clock at night. And then they wake up at 6 and they got to go to some sort of practice by 7. And they got to be to school by 8. Like, there are kids that do not have a life outside of what they're doing to, be great. Outside of what they're doing really for their parents. You can't become that person when you're a performer. When you're stepping on stage to entertain an audience, and I don't care what your audience is. I don't care if it's 10 people walking down the street because you're busking. And I don't care if it's, 1,000 people at a festival that you're opening for, I don't know, Justin Bieber, I think maybe. The point is, it doesn't matter what your audience is. If you go out there and you're lazy, bored, and you don't care, your audience is going to get bored and they're not going to care. So for your mental health and for your performance health, sometimes you got to take that little break. And it doesn't mean cancel shows. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you've worked for 3 days solid and you've seen some improvement and you've gotten better and you're starting to get comfortable, take a day. Or at least reduce the rehearsal. You need to go out and do something different. Even if it's go out with friends and have a drink, whether it's a soda or a water or a beer or a liquor beverage, whatever. Go out and have a drink with your friends. Go out to dinner with the person that you love. Go skating. Is that a thing still? Go skating? I know it came back for a little while. It doesn't have to be a party thing. It can be something you enjoy. I mean, hell, if you like crocheting blankets, go crochet a blanket. Take a break. I give you permission, and you never need my permission to do anything. But if you feel like you need someone's permission and you need someone to tell you it's okay, I'm here for you, buddy. I'll tell you the truth every single time. Every single time. Even when the truth is, listen, you need to step back for a day. You need to just take a break, walk away, let it go for a bit. Like, sometimes we need to hear that. I'll be the guy to tell it to you. I will give it to you straight and real every single time. You want proof? I'll call you. No, really. Book a time on my calendar. Tell me what you need. Tell me a little bit about what you need. I'll email you, check in beforehand, and then I'll call you. We'll work through it. We'll talk through it, and I will tell you exactly what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, not what's going to build your ego, not what's going to get you through the next week, but I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to hear for the long term. Because that's what this is. Your performance game, your performance career, that's the long game. This is not a 1-year thing. This is not a 6-month thing. This is a lifetime thing. I've met people that they used to go on tour with their band living in a van, and now they're cutting hair, but they play guitar at their church on the weekends. You can't ever let it go. It's a lifelong thing. So it stands to reason. Look at people that have corporate jobs. I'll tell you 100%. Sometimes you need to take a break. Even if it's something that you enjoy, you still need to take a break from it once in a while. That's it. Oh, and that link to hop on my calendar, I almost forgot. I didn't even give you the link. Like, I was so excited. beingonstage.com/calendar. And no joke, I'll give you a call. We'll give you the kick in the pants that you need. I'm your guy. Listen, I believe in everything that you do. I believe that you're going to be great. I believe that you're getting to be the artist that you want to be and that you envision yourself to be. Don't be afraid to take a break from that for a day or so. And keep on shining.